Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Healing Space. I'm your host, Maya Sol, and today we're talking about something that quietly follow many of us into adulthood, often without us realizing it. Today's episode is called The Childhood Wounds We Bring into Relationships. Now, before we begin, I want to say something important. This episode is not about blaming parents. It's not about staying stuck in the past. This episode is about understanding because sometimes the struggles we experience in adult relationships aren't actually starting in our adult relationships. Sometimes they started years ago, long before we met our partner, long before we fell in love. Sometimes the wounds we're reacting from were created in childhood, and until we recognize them, they continue showing up in our relationships again and again. Whether we realize it or not, childhood is often our first introduction to love. It's where we learn what love looks like, what love sounds like, what love feels like. It's where we learn whether our emotions are welcome or inconvenient, whether our needs matter or should be ignored. The problem is that children don't analyze their environment, they absorb it. What we repeatedly experience often becomes what we believe is normal, even when it isn't healthy. Imagine a child who constantly felt overlooked. Maybe their feelings were not acknowledged. Maybe their accomplishments went unnoticed. Maybe they learned that speaking up didn't change anything. That child often grows into an adult who desperately wants to feel seen. In relationships, they may become sensitive when communication changes. They may feel hurt when texts go unanswered, not because they're needy, but because a younger part of them is still looking for the attention they never received. Some children grow up believing love must be earned. Maybe they were only praised when they performed well. Maybe affection came with conditions. Over time, they begin believing if I'm good enough, people will love me. If I do enough, people will stay. As adults, these individuals often become overgivers. They may struggle with boundaries. They may constantly try to prove their worth, not because they're weak, but because they're still chasing the love they felt they had to earn. Abandonment doesn't always mean someone physically left. Sometimes it means emotional absence. A parent who was there physically but unavailable emotionally. A person who disappeared when they were needed most. Children who experience abandonment often carry a deep fear into adulthood, a fear of being left, a fear of not being enough. As adults, they may become anxious when communication slows down. They may struggle to trust stability because instability became familiar. Some children grow up in environments where criticism was constant. Nothing was ever quite good enough. Every mistake was magnified. Every flaw was highlighted. As adults, these individuals often become highly sensitive to judgment. They may take feedback personally. They may become defensive quickly. They may struggle to believe compliments because criticism feels more familiar. Some children learn early that they had to take care of everyone else. Maybe they comforted a struggling parent. Maybe they became the peacemaker in the family. Maybe they learned their needs came second. These children often grow into adults who are excellent caretakers, but they also become exhausted because they know how to give, but they don't always know how to receive. They're comfortable being needed, but uncomfortable needing others. Relationships have a way of exposing wounds we didn't know were still there. A partner forgetting to call may trigger feeling of abandonment. A disagreement may trigger fears of rejection. The relationship didn't create the wound. The relationship revealed it. And while that can be painful, it can also be healing because what gets revealed can finally be addressed. One of the most powerful questions we can ask ourselves is Am I reacting as the adult I am today or the child who was hurt years ago? Healing begins when we recognize that not every emotional reaction belongs to the present moment. Sometimes old wounds are speaking through present situations. And when we understand that, we become more compassionate with ourselves. The beautiful thing about healing is that awareness creates choice. You may not have chosen the experience that you had as a child, but you can choose what happens next. You can learn healthier patterns. You can learn that your needs matter. You can learn that being vulnerable isn't weakness. You can learn that your past may still be influencing the present and does not have to define your future. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Healing Space with Maya Soul. Keep healing, keep growing, and most importantly, keep choosing yourself.